Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
How's your day going?
Going good, thank you, yes.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Bronco Nation, when I score, Jackson pours. Each game I score a touchdown, head to Jackson's on Monday for a 49-cent fountain drink with Let's Go rewards. And don't forget your free banana, Jackson's. Let's go.
It's the all-wheel drive event at Lithia Ford of Boise. From hunting trips to ski trips to trips to Grandma's house. Nobody does AWD like LFB. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RoePaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RoePaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange Store. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
How we doing, Bronco Nation? Welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains, and we are in the Sun Cruiser Studios, as you heard. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser. We appreciate Sun Cruiser for their sponsorship of our studios. Excited to tell you more about them moving forward. We gave that cooler away. We're going to have some more stuff to give away on Saturday at the bowl game. So the watch party we're doing. So Appreciate Sun Cruiser. If you've never had it, it's delicious iced tea vodkas. They have the lemonade vodkas as well, a lot of different flavors. Real lemonade, premium vodka, Sun Cruiser lemonade, the perfect balance of sweet and tangy for a taste that is refreshingly smooth and low carb, low calorie. It's a great option. You just nice, easy to sip on. I highly recommend Sun Cruisers, and we're excited to have our partnership rolling with Sun Cruiser. Had them down at Circa in Las Vegas, first place I ever had it, was hooked. Derek Stevens, the whole crew down there at Circa, they're all locked in on Sun Cruisers, and I can promise you that you'll enjoy it. So Ben says, good morning, big week for the Broncos. Definitely. And we're going to have Jay Tust, Bronco Studios, joining us here shortly to talk about all of that here on BroncoNationNews.com. So Jay Tust, Bronco Studios, is going to be our guest here shortly. We have the basketball game tomorrow night. We have the football game on Saturday. We have the basketball game on Sunday. So, yes, a very big week here for Bronco Nation News, and excited and thankful that you've made this your choice here on a Tuesday morning to talk about it with us. So get your questions in, get your comments in the ICCU YouTube chat, and make sure you're clicking that subscribe button and that like button at the bottom of the screen, and help us out in the algorithms and things. So if you can give us that like and give us that subscription, we are pushing towards 7,500 YouTube subscribers, and then we'll push towards 8,000 after that. But we're closing in on 7,500, I believe, YouTube subscribers, and so that's really cool. And we got some cool things coming to the YouTube channel here in the future that I'll be telling you more about moving forward. But again, if you're not a YouTube subscriber, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on X, we would encourage you to jump on over to the YouTube channel. You can chat with folks like John Buchanan in there, says, doing good. Good morning, y'all. So appreciate you, John, as always, for making us part of your morning routine. And, kind of fun to just chat with each other and talk and get some good debates and things rolling in the chat. And, it's one of those kind of fun things. And it's kind of become a little bit of a, routine for folks in a community to chat with each other, and kind of folks tell me they feel like they know people in the chat even though they've never met them. So it's kind of a fun thing where you can get on there and talk Boise State sports with folks. And again, that's the ICCU YouTube chat, and that's Idaho Central Credit Union. We are still offering that 50% off deal, by the way, 50% off for a Bronco Nation News yearly subscription. You can just go to BroncoNationNews.com right now for that. BroncoNationNews.com, 50% off. We got our transfer portal tracker, which will go live this morning. Chris V and the crew will be keeping track of all the transfers coming. Had a couple more yesterday, and we'll be tracking that, as well as all the other news and things happening at BroncoNationNews.com. Kurt Fuller saying, nice to see you on TV. Yeah, our man John Buchanan was famous there on the True TV broadcast. We saw him on there the other day. Randy Vaughn checking in from Oklahoma. Appreciate you, Randy, for checking in from Oklahoma as well. So I always appreciate folks letting us know where they're watching from, shout outs, things like that. And we'll give you those. I believe our man Jay Tust has joined us, Bronco Studios. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Jay Tust. Jay, I know it's a busy Tuesday for you, but busy Tuesday and in busy week in Boise State athletics here with the basketball game tomorrow night. We got football and basketball interviews coming up here after the show. We got football. You guys leaving on Thursday, the game on Saturday, and then I'll be getting over to Idaho Falls hopefully on early Sunday morning for a big game there as well. So a busy week in Boise State athletics here. How we doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah. What a weird bowl week though, right? Like it's going to feel weird getting there so late, but it's just like another road game. I mean, Boise State is treating this like they would have done, South Florida or Notre Dame in terms of, really only going one extra day early. But, with just the short turnaround, I think that's just kind of what this one was going to be about. So,
which I'm cool with. I mean, I know for the players, maybe the players get a little less bowl events or things, but I'm sure they'll still get the gifts and all that, but maybe one or two less kind of evening events, or a little less time, I guess, in the hospitality room with their playing video games or ping pong with their teammates and stuff. But they're still getting that time here in Boise, and I see some positives and negatives to it, but mostly positives. And I think you're going to get a team that's still kind of riding that momentum of the championship straight into this week.
Yeah, I think that when you look at kind of everybody's been talking about the football calendar and things like that, I think this is kind of like probably when you want to see bowl games actually start to be played. Maybe even just a skosh earlier for that matter. But I think that it'll allow Boise State to stay within the rhythm of game week And I can't remember. I think Spencer said something to the effect yesterday where there's no real time to like overthink things. Like you're just like, you're back into it. It's game week. And I mean, like really it's no extra time than they've had to prepare for just about any other game this year. Right. So yeah, I think it's a fun matchup, awesome venue. I like the date of it because everybody, gets home well before Christmas. And now it's going to really allow Boise State's coaching staff to attack this win and really focus on this game. And then now they can go focus on their 2026 team, as of December 14th. They don't have to like prolong that or really split their attention with the transfer portal opening up, in about a month.
Yeah, I would say other than coaches that are coaching in the playoff, in the next couple of weeks, like almost any coach in America probably is jealous of Boise State and that they're going to be done on Saturday.
I think so, because now so much of this is about roster building and retention and, attacking the transfer portal and things like that. And now that Boise State gets to play this game so early, they're going to be, free of mind of their 2025 season in what, 5 days, 6 days. And then they can start to attack 2026. So I do think that this is something that would play into their favor. And I know Spencer said yesterday, they had some guys get banged up in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. For the most part, it feels like they're pretty healthy, but we don't really know because we won't get a little peek at that this week.
I was going to say, I know you now that you're part of on the payroll there at Boise State, I know you got to watch what you say, but I thought it was very interesting, I guess. Just just my mind always this time of year goes, whether it's transfer portal guys, whether it's injuries. My mind just probably maybe Prater's rubbing off on me too much, but my mind immediately goes to the negative possibilities of why practice would be closed when it was supposed to be open. And they had told us Sunday practice would be open, even Monday. Yesterday at the press conference, they told us practice would be open today. And then we get the word, yesterday evening, 7-8 o'clock, that practice is now closed today. So I'm not trying to put you in a bad spot or anything. Maybe you know why it is. And it could be as simple as what they usually say is, just a schedule change or something. I don't know. But they had told us that one practice of the championship week and one practice of the bowl week this week was supposed to be open. And so I at least find that a little notable on my, cynical brain that why are they, all of a sudden the night before closing practice? What do they not want us to see?
I know nothing. I know as much as you know, in all honesty, BJ. I promise you that. I think you can. If you want to connect dots, go connect dots. It's.
Hopefully it is.
I will say in somewhat fairness,
want them locked in and focused, and that's it. But
yeah, I will say in fairness, Spencer's been as open and allowed as much access as anybody that's ever been the head coach of the Boise State football team.
No doubt.
That being said, like when the trend is broken, I guess if you want to say that it's notable, I'm not here to say that you're wrong.
I wrestled whether or not to even say something, but I had told people yesterday we'll be out at practice tomorrow. So I think it was I had to at least address it, and so I said something about maybe something, maybe nothing on Twitter, and just putting out the news. The practice is now closed, but the fact is, Spencer did say there were some guys banged up. We had Daylon Matoyer's dad in the chat yesterday saying he was getting an MRI on his MCL and it didn't look great, and he went down in the game. You have other potential guys that went down with injuries, and then that's 2 days, 2 times already where Spencer Danielson's been asked about the potential opt-outs, and he's been less than willing to say they're all going to play. And so again, maybe he just hasn't had. It is again just too early in the week, and he hasn't had that conversation, or maybe I will he's not wanting to say something.
Yeah, and maybe that's the case, BJ. But like he did mention at the press conference yesterday that he hasn't had some of those meetings yet, and I do know that to be the case.
Jed Fish came out and said everyone's playing as of now, but it could still change by Saturday. This is college football, but he at least said they were all playing as of now. Yeah. We haven't gotten that far.
But as of yesterday, I don't know. As of yesterday, he said it. Like I don't think that he had all those meetings that he's or those conversations that he's had to have yet. And you know what? It's also, man, this is like it is what college football is now. Like if you don't expect something, then you're probably setting yourself up for failure.
whether they close practice or not, we would almost be surprised if you get out there on Saturday and every single eligible player is out there playing.
Yeah. So try to be surprised, I guess. I don't know, or hope you can be surprised, but don't be surprised on the flip side of it, because that's what college football is these days. And I think that, you still heard Spencer's tone and tenor, and I think that he still feels like he's got a lot of guys that want to play football right now. And hopefully they got enough to go out and beat a team that, played in the Big Ten this year. And, I would assume that UW's not going to be, have their full complement of players, but I have no clue, to be honest with you, but I would assume that to be the case.
They at least had the week off if there were any kind of guys dinged up or anything, not playing in championship weekend. As I said, their coach, Jed Fish, did say as of now their star players are expected to play, but he said things could change by Saturday. This is college football, so we'll see. But, the more and more I dive into this matchup, Jay, I'm not going to lie. It looks a little scary matchup here for Boise State. I mean, they've got some high-end talent. They played a pretty tough schedule. They're like in the SP Plus rankings, which is like the football version of KenPom kind of. They're in the top 20 in the country. And they just played a really tough Big Ten schedule and lost to two teams that are in the playoff right now, and lost two tough road games at Michigan and at Wisconsin, where a lot of people go and lose, and that's it. I mean, they have not a ton of great wins. They did beat a ranked Illinois team. But this talent is certainly there, whether you go quarterback, running back, receiver. I mean, there's some all across the board. I mean, I'm not, coming on now predicting Boise State's going to get blown out, but the spread's 8.5, and it's really hard to argue with that. And if anything, you say maybe it's a little bit low, to be honest.
I mean, you know me, I don't like to admit it, but Boise State's opponent this week has had a pretty good season. And I think that they do have a lot of talent on that side of the ball. They have a very dynamic quarterback. Luckily for Boise State, they've done a pretty good job against opposing quarterbacks this season. You bring up Anthony Calandria. He was the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year, completing darn near 70% of his passes on the season. And Boise State limits him to 18 of 38 in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. And it just felt like all 225 of his yards were like really difficult. Like Boise State really played well on defense. I felt like everything that UNLV accomplished on offense last Friday was just challenging, it felt like. So this is going to be a huge opportunity for Boise State to not only go get that 10th win, but I mean, there is the storyline about, their recent success or maybe lack thereof against, some of the Power Four teams. And I think that that's not just coincidental with the time that we're at in college football. Even it goes back to the college football playoff, BJ. I think it's hilarious how everybody's complaining about two group of five teams getting in or whatever. And when you really look at this, so the rosters that you have compare the amount of money that are being poured into these rosters, right? Some of these rosters are probably 10 times what maybe some of these group of five rosters are. So I don't know if I'm totally on board with hearing the complaining about, what is or isn't fair. Like when you have a roster 10 times more valuable than another roster, you've had your opportunity. You've had the advantage, in my opinion, to make your case and get into the college football playoff. And then on top of all that, I think that, it's not that you even brought this up, but I just think that as we look at college football and what it is these days, we don't need to change college football playoff rules. We need to, attack the ACC, in my opinion, or I don't know if attack the ACC, but at least be critical of their format and their tie-breaking process, because that is really what, created that mess. But my overall point, when you look at Boise State's track record against those Power Four teams in recent history, it is almost the exact moment in time where NIL became a factor, and all of a sudden those Power Four schools could not only afford talented starting lineups, but they could probably afford to pay some of their backups more than what some other schools even pay their starters, because they're just in a completely different scenario.
Well, I think it was either a fact or close to a fact, Jay, when Boise State went up against Oregon last year, that Dylan Gabriel was making more in NIL than literally Boise State's entire team, or close to it.
Yeah. I mean, that shows you right there. I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I think that when we talk about these types of matchups, we want to, pretend that we can live in the past. And it's it is not apples to apples anymore, people. You're playing a different team. It is a different game. Even in the past, yeah, they had more stars attached to their names and things like that, or their rosters when you play Georgia or whoever. But now you're dealing with an even greater gap because of the money that's just involved here. And so I know that there's been some frustrations and stuff about, wanting to get up for this game and even playing Power 4 teams. But the challenge for Boise State to do that is as great as ever. I'm not saying they're incapable of doing it. They certainly can.
Is it really 9 in a row?
What's that?
They've lost 9 in a row?
That's pretty darn close, I think. Yeah.
August 2019, the Florida State win, a 6-7 Florida State team, according to Adam Freeland. The last, I know Spencer hasn't beaten one, and I know Johnny brought that up in the press conference yesterday. I didn't realize they had gone back quite this far, but he says.
What about BYU? Was that 21? They went on the road there and beat BYU.
What year was that?
I think it was 2021. It was the highest ranked road win in school history.
They weren't technically Power 4, I guess, when you played them. They're independent. I don't know if that counts or not.
But I guess you could get that. But I thought that even the independents they did fall into the Power 4 group at that time. I don't know. It's been a minute, sure.
He's saying not Power 4 at the time, but I mean that is kind
of. I still think that they were considered they were lumped in with the playoff and everything. They were lumped into the Power. Whatever. I'm not calling you wrong. You're Johnny. Hey, can we is it at all weird that Johnny's first question this week was about the opposing team that Boise State is playing this week? Like he really wanted to find out about the starting quarterback of the team that Boise State's playing this week. I just thought that was an interesting thing where he really, I know he's from that area, but I just thought that it was interesting. He really dove.
I was just mad that they didn't turn the sound up 2 seconds earlier on the live feed of the press conference, so everyone could have heard Spencer Danielson finding out the reason Johnny wasn't going to LA was because he had a date.
Yeah. How about them goalposts moving, Johnny?
By the way, it's funny. It's funny, Jay. Nobody wants the group of 5 to be part of this playoff or whatever. But yet, here we are today. Bob Chesney, the James Madison coach. Well, UCLA wanted him, being introduced to the head coach at UCLA, and Alex Golesh from South Florida. Auburn wants him, and Ryan Satterfield from Memphis. Arkansas wants him, and Tulane.
Let's see how many players follow those guys.
Florida sure wanted the Tulane coach. Like, it's pretty interesting how a lot of these players end up getting called up, moved up with NIL money and transfer portal and stealing guys for their roster, and coaches keep getting moved up, but yet the program and teams themselves that actually won the games, no, they have no business being in this playoff.
Well, yeah, we'll see how many players follow them from those schools to the Power 4 schools, and then on top of that, as we just hang on this topic for a second here and ignore whatever Johnny's telling us, I think that you go back and even look at last year's games. Okay, so Tennessee goes to Ohio State and absolutely gets crushed, but if you substituted that with James Madison and the same outcome, there would be an uproar that we just can't even allow the group of 5 into the college football playoff anymore. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Yet a lot of those first round games are absolute blowouts last
year. The average 4 point spreads, even with 2 point spreads, this the 2 group of 5 ones are like 17 each or whatever, but like the average point spread for the 4 games this year to last year, the number was actually bigger last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Without the group of 5.
There you go.
And
do you really think that, come on, I know it's college football and anything can happen. Johnny has a date. But would Virginia really stand that much more of a chance at Oregon than a James Madison? I don't think so.
It needs to go to at least 16, by the way, Jay. I would go to 24. I just say forget it. Just go all the way to 24.
Can we also understand that, okay, look at the NCAA basketball tournament. Forever it was 64 teams, and then it was 68 teams, and now we're talking about expanding that. But there are going to be teams that are always unhappy. The 69th and 70th teams are always going to be pissed.
No, they do have. That's what I said. And people always say, but the 69th and 70th teams, Jay, are certainly more deserving than the 16 seeds.
Potentially,
That's just the way the system is. So sure, BYU and whoever else got left off, Alabama or Notre Dame, are certainly more deserving probably than a James Madison. But you know what? That's the system you have. That's the way it is. Quit complaining.
It is wild to me how long it takes to change certain things in college football these days. And in 16 hours after Notre Dame gets left out of the playoffs, we already have like an updated criteria for them to make the college football playoff. It takes forever for rules to change. It seems like with the NCAA, and in an overnight conversation or whatever. Now we already have more. Make sure Notre Dame. If you do this, you're in.
Yeah, and that's a whole, like I said, a topic for another day. But I think 24, you just do it, because I also think then you give the top 16 team home games. First 8 get a bye, then you get those home games, then you get the other home games. And you know what, Jay? I have no problem if every year the group of 5 team has to play at Georgia or at Oregon or at Alabama. You know what? You're not even with them. And if you want to prove it, yeah. And would the odds be stacked against you that you'll probably never win a game and move on past the first round? Sure. But you know what? The 16 seeds, other than, the UMBC or whatever it is that beat, Virginia, like, that's the way it is. Yeah. You get in, you probably don't deserve to be in, but you know what? You get to get in, your reward is you're playing Duke, like in the first game. Like, that's just the way it is. And no 16 seeds complain about that. They're lucky they got in. So and if you go all the way to 24, I don't know if you do the 10 conference champions and then 14 at larges. I don't know if that's possible, because I think if you go to 24, you probably have to get rid of the conference championship games to be able to start sooner and you have more games. This other model they're throwing out is four teams each for the Power 4 leagues, 2 group of 6s, which I'd be okay with, because if you're getting 2 group of 6s, you would think the Pac-12 would have one of those 2 spots pretty much every year. But I don't know. That's a discussion for another day. But I think they pushed it back to January, like mid-January now, Jay. So you're talking about things getting changed quickly in the next month or 6 weeks. Like, we're going to know the new playoff format for next year, and it is going to be different. I think that the Tuesday shows need to go away. They provide nothing. And I think that the playoff is going to at least 16, maybe more. And I do think, Jay, there'll be stronger wording, especially if it's only 16, that pretty much guarantees only one spot, not more than one possible for the group of 5.
That's fine. I also think that we really the ACC needs to be at fault here too. I think they're getting away way too easy with this. I mean, it is, if you go to Boise or the Mountain West playoff tiebreaker, the first tiebreaker, if everybody plays each other, is a head-to-head. That matters. But after that, it immediately goes to the college football playoff rankings. And just kind of skimming through the ACC's tie-breaking scenario, I think it was like the 5th criteria. It's like way down there. And yeah, you want to crown your deserved league champion. I get that. But right now, the point of this is to get your league champion into the college football playoff. And if you're doing something that doesn't emphasize that, you need to change your ways, not make everybody else change their ways. And it's a little mind-blowing to me that's the case. And who's to say that? I mean, I think it's also a reason why probably Notre Dame gets left out of this thing, is that the ACC just had to be represented. And had Virginia won, they would have been represented. There only would have been one group of 5 team in the college football playoff. And then that way you could have said, no, we got an ACC team in there. We can leave Miami out. Notre Dame gets the spot. It really seems like it should be more simple than it is. I think
I got a simple idea for you, Jay.
What?
How about you don't have 20 teams in a conference? How about you go? Yep. How about you not have teams on the East Coast and West Coast in the same conference? Yep. How about you go back to regional conferences based on geography with more, the ability to, I know in football it's tough, but to play everybody, or at least have the good teams all play each other every single season, and not have a situation where Duke and Miami only had 2 common opponents the entire season. Like this whole thing and the greed and the money and everything.
That's the thing.
It's gotten so out of hand that's led to a lot of this.
And you really look at that, and all of a sudden it feels like the conferences can set up scheduling to make it in their favor, to where now you just try to get 2 10-win teams in the conference championship game, and the winner gets to go to the college football playoff, and they can really play I know, like Virginia, for example, like I know they came out of nowhere and were really good this year. I get that. You can't predict anything, but you can set it up so there are favorable paths to the college, to your conference championship game and maybe the college football playoff. But at the end of the day, like, everybody wants to complain and whatnot about 2 group of 5 teams getting in. And I still, it's the ACC's fault. It's not. And everybody's talking about what's fair and unfair. Again, you have these rosters that just have that 10 times the value is being sunk into play to these guys. And we're saying that it's unfair that the little guys actually like make the college football playoff. I don't know. I think that Kenny Dillingham said it best. Like, TV ratings are doing great. Money is obviously flowing in everywhere. Outside of that, everything's a mess. I don't know when I was listening to the radio last night and some sports talk show. I can't remember, in the car on the way home. And I heard Kenny Dillingham say that. And I was like, he's right. Like, outside of that, everything seems like it's just chaos.
By the way, Jay, I'm following the winter meetings a lot too because they're going on for baseball. I know both our teams are trying to improve. I don't have like a breaking news thing, but I'll just play this song right here if you can hear it. You know whose music this is, right?
Yeah.
Edwin Diaz, as if the LA Dodgers needed more pitching. Edwin Diaz for the LA Dodgers. That's my son's walk-up music, by the way, when he comes up to bat. But also Kyle Schwarber, looks like back to the Phillies. $150 million for 5 years for Kyle Schwarber, back to the Phillies. Haven't seen the money yet, but Edwin, we can all finally agree with something from Johnny Ballgame. Edwin Diaz, according to John Heyman, looks like going to the LA Dodgers.
Talk about a broken system. Now that's another talk for another show whenever you start your MLB Tonight show or whatever. I guess we can go into that, but let's fix college football first, then we can move on to baseball.
Edwin Diaz to the Dodgers. Salary cap. Hey, enjoy it this year while you can, because there's probably going to be a lockout next year.
Yeah.
Because I think the salary cap needs to happen, and so that's probably the way they're gonna have to do it. And as Max says, probably going to end up with Scooball at some point here in a trade too. And they're going to sign Kyle Tucker for the outfield, and they're going to be ready to run it back.
Completely different type of money ball. Literal money. Literal money ball.
Yes.
They've changed the meaning of money ball.
But Jay, I the momentum Boise State has riding this championship game. I mentioned I think it's going to be a really tough matchup, but getting Maddox Madsen back, playing the way he did. I do want to talk about a couple guys that have entered the transfer portal here, but and kind of look ahead a little bit towards next year. But the deferred money is stupid too. I think Shohei Ohtani made like $2 million last year.
Yeah,
that was. But just how do you feel momentum wise? 3 in a row, got the championship game under their belt. How do you feel about just Boise State, kind of, as we said, rolling right in game week, right into this game here?
I mean, I thought Maddox played as good as he's ever played the other night. I mean, he just looked confident. I know he's not probably at 100%, but he looked pretty darn good. 17 of 31 for 289, and let's face it, there were a couple drops in there too that probably would have inflated those numbers even more. And Chase Penry goes down at the 1 yard line, right? Could have had another passing touchdown. There's another opportunity. I think there's another drop that could have led to another touchdown. But this is, they need him to be at his best. And I mean, if they have their full complement of talent, man, would it really help them? Because they need it. I mean, the opponent they play this week, BJ. I mean, they're really stout on defense, allowing under 20 points per game. The 311 yards per game on offense or defense that they allow. So it's not going to be an easy matchup here for them and for Boise State. And it's kind of interesting because we talk a lot about, Boise State and their 4 losses. They have only scored an average of 7 points. The math is pretty simple because they have literally scored 7 points in all 4 losses. On the flip side of that, you look at what they've done in their wins, and they've been explosive, averaging over 40 points per game in their wins. Then you look at the opponent that they're playing this week, and they are averaging I think it was 9.3 in their losses, and in their wins they're averaging 46 points per game. So there are some similarities there, when it comes to Boise State and the team that they play this week.
And someone mentioned Capel's falling down too. That would have been an easy touchdown probably. They had
some
chances, but in the end, 38 points, 38-21. They win the conference championship game. Now they will play in the LA Bowl on Saturday against Washington. I do want to touch on the basketball team, Jay, because they had a big win against Butler, and also we're going to talk to Leon today. They actually have the next the next game here tomorrow night against Duquesne. So I want to do that in just a second. But I do want to thank a couple of great sponsors that allow us to bring on Jay Tust and our guests here on Bronco Nation News. And it starts with our studio sponsor, Sun Cruiser, real iced tea or real vodka, 4.5% alcohol, no bubbles, 100 calories. Like I said, they have the vodka iced teas. They also have the lemonade variety pack, real lemonade premium vodka, Sun Cruiser lemonade, the perfect balance of sweet and tangy for a taste that is refreshingly smooth. And I highly recommend the strawberry lemonade. That's my favorite flavor, but they have the peach, they have the raspberry teas, the lemonade teas. Sun Cruiser, pick it up. And as I've said, for this first month of December, as we kick off our sponsorship with them, take a picture of yourself having a Sun Cruiser and tweet at us, Instagram us, email us, and we will enter you in a raffle to win a pretty cool prize pack. We'll put something together for you. So we want to show Sun Cruiser that their sponsorship is working. So go try a Sun Cruiser. I promise you'll enjoy it. And take a picture of yourself or your crew enjoying one. Send it to us, and we will get you entered to win a raffle. And that's now available at the James. It's going to be available at Uncle Bob's for our watch party on Saturday. And it's available, I believe, at Albertsons and Jackson's as well. So check them out. Sun Cruiser. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser. We appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union. Not a big surprise, but they have re-upped for another year with Bronco Nation News. We appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union for their continued support of Bronco Nation News. Rain's family is loving ICCU, and whether it's their e-branch, mobile, online banking, whatever their variety of options are, it's the easiest, best in the business. And you may think you like your banking experience, but I can promise you like Idaho Central Credit Union even more. Make the switch today, iccu.com. We appreciate rowpaint.com. Rowpaint.com, 20% off those winter painting projects if you hit up rowpaint.com. And they need the business this winter, folks. So if you got that project you're on the fence about, take advantage of their specials. Let the professionals handle it for you. Interior, exterior painting, those concrete coatings for your garage, your basement, all kinds of options, industrial, commercial, residential. Hit up our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, and rowpaint.com. TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. They've got the breakfast. Maybe you don't think of Taco Bell as a good breakfast spot, but the quesadillas, all the various options there. Great breakfast, best breakfast in town, Taco Bell. And, of course, they've got the late night menu, all the great options there, the cheesy roll-ups, the new crispy chicken strips. Support the SON Management Group and the Nicolason family. Hit up Taco Bell today. Now, here's a cool deal, Jay. They're going to do this on Monday no matter what, to celebrate Latrell Caples, to celebrate his career at Boise State. Monday, you get a 49-cent fountain drink using your Let's Go rewards, and that is whether Latrell Caples scores or not. Hopefully he will score, but if he does not score in the LA Bowl, you still on Monday get a 49-cent fountain drink with Let's Go rewards on Monday no matter what. To celebrate the career of Latrell Caples after his first game. So head on out to Jackson's on Monday. Get that 49-cent fountain drink at Jackson's on Monday using the Let's Go rewards app. And that is from our friends over there at Jackson's. And Jay, I don't know whose jersey you're seeing going off the wall these days there in the Hall of Fame location. I don't know if it's the Max Cutforth jerseys or the Dylan Riley jerseys are still selling well or what, but you can get those customized jerseys there at the Blue and Orange store right there at the Boise State Hall of Fame. They can make you a customized jersey in minutes if you just head on into the Hall of Fame. They have the location at the Boise Town Square Mall as well, or you can order online anywhere in the world at the blueandorangestore.com. The best selection, the best prices, the Blue and Orange store there at the blueandorangestore.com. All right, Jay, we're going to be talking to Leon Rice here in a little bit. By the way, don't know if you saw this or not, but Rick Neuheisel went on, I think, with Dan Patrick and had this crazy idea for the bowl games getting moved to the beginning of the season. And I think you've been there in some of these scrums with Leon Rice, but he's been talking about this has been his kind. I mean, and maybe he stole it from somebody else, but that's been one of Leon's ideas for like a couple years is let's play the bowl games the first game of the season. I know it for the seniors that have a great year and surprisingly get to a bowl game, like you can't please everybody, but to fix the opt-outs, to fix all this stuff, however you do this year, then that sets up your bowl game for the first game next year. And that's kind of the week 0 or whatever. And you can still have the trips, the bowl games, all this stuff. You can, whatever. And you still have the bowl games, but it's the first game of the year, not the last game of the year. That is an idea that I think a lot of us have heard before from Leon Rice. And given the opt-outs and the wanting to get to the portal and NIL, like nowadays it does make a little bit of sense. I don't know if it would ever happen, but Rick Neuheisel said yesterday he believes that it will happen at some point where bowl games get moved to the beginning of the season. What's your take on that?
I did
There
it.
we
My
go.
bad. It's been a while. My apologies. I wonder if it would be something in the case where, not necessarily like where it's already slotted, but maybe they could even just create those matchups at some point in time. I think it'd be cool to like almost leave those dates open to allow that flexibility to where, a couple of years ago, you could have scheduled Boise State and Central Florida in week 1 or something like that. I mean, I guess they did play, for that matter, but you could kind of leave that open so you could have flexibility to identify cool matchups that year. And then, you go a few days earlier, you treat it like a bowl game. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think it would be a little interesting to say like maybe the end of the 2025 season would dictate the 26 season, because with coaching changes, with roster changes, you could run into a scenario where, you're completely mismatched because of what your team the previous year did. So, but I think that, that's something to be open to, and you could have neutral sites hosting these things. And, I think that might be the answer right now, because you can't opt out of the first game of the season, but apparently you can opt out of the 13th or 14th game of the season.
By the way, transfer portal, I brought that up. We should go hit on that before we switch to basketball real quick.
Yeah.
Hall Schmidt, we find out entering the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Clay Martineau, Chase Martin, Demetric Whitlock, I believe, are the ones on the list so far. I'm trying to think if there's anybody I missed, but the big one, I guess, yesterday was Hall Schmidt saying that he is going to the transfer portal. JJ Tallow also has entered the portal, I believe. I know. What do you make of just this? And Hall Schmidt was battling some injuries, couldn't quite get healthy this year. Obviously started 12 games last year. I mean, it happens every year. You're going to lose some guys, get some guys, and offensive line, that's going to be an interesting position to watch in the portal and off season, because they're certainly losing a lot of guys with experience there.
Yeah, and I think that after signing day, Spencer kind of talked to us he definitely talked to us for a while about it, and I know that the transfer portal question was asked, and I think that now you start to see where the direction of their roster and maybe some of the deflections and things like, or defections and things like that. And I think that now you can probably start to better understand like where maybe they do go in the transfer portal. And that's just complete speculation on my part, but they lose a couple of linebackers that I think they felt pretty good about. And I was even just kind of thinking about the offensive line the other day before the Hall Schmidt news, and you think, Mason Randolph is going to graduate, and I know that Cage Casey's future is up in the air, but it certainly seems like he has the choice to go to the NFL if he wants to. And so, what does that leave you with? Because Zach Holmes, who's quietly done a pretty good job down the stretch here, in my opinion, you lose him too. So really, when you look at the starting offensive line, you could say that you bring back Daylon Matoyer, your starting right tackle, and then, Roger Carrion, who lines up right next to him, and then you got to rebuild it around that. But then when you really thought about that, you're like, okay, Jason Steele's played a good amount of snaps. Hall Schmidt could be a guy they plug back in. And for a minute there, you're thinking, well, they basically have 4 guys out of the 5 that have quite a bit of starting experience they can figure this thing out with. But now, they apparently lose Hall to the transfer portal, so he's now out of the equation, and they got to kind of figure out how to rebuild that a little bit.
Now, what do you make about linebacker? Because Skyship says, what's up with all the developing linebackers hitting the portal? Wondered if they'd heard about portal linebackers or something. Right now, I'm taking this list from our friend Nathan Carroll. He posted this to Twitter. But, I mean, you got the linebackers in the room returning next year right now. Bowen Phelps, Jake Ripp, Sam Brooks, Sincere Brackett, and Manu. You gonna take a shot for me on the last name there?
Mana.
Tuiati? We'll just go Mana. All right, that works. But Bowen Phelps, Jake Ripp, Sam Brooks, Sincere Brackett, Mana Tuiati. He says a lot of youth, but certainly upside. Wonder if they'll hit the portal. But obviously, linebacking play just, at times has been up and down this year. I know Marco Notriani's been battling some stuff, injury-wise, whatever. Maybe, had that great tackle sack at the end of the game, maybe missed some plays earlier in the game. But, obviously Andrew Simpson, they expected to be a part of this group, and he wasn't, and that kind of led to some of the trickle-down effect, Jay. But next year's linebacker group, do you think that's something they're going to probably have to hit in the portal?
I think you probably got to take a look at it. But I think that they think pretty highly. I mean, Sincere Brackett has played this year. Mana's played this year a ton on kickoff return. I don't know. And then obviously Bowen Phelps has really emerged onto the scene. So I think you might be kind of looking at this thing and realizing like it might even be tough for those guys to come back and get playing time next year. So I don't know, man. That again, speculation on my part. And you look at a guy like Chase Martin, played a ton as a true freshman, was a real impact on special teams, but the last couple seasons have not necessarily. It doesn't really feel like it, has been an upward, trend or whatnot when it comes to his development. I don't know, and I know he's been injured, so I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to be like too critical of the kid because he deals with injuries. Same with Clay, but like I think that maybe they feel okay about some of the other guys in that room, and we'll just kind of see how it all plays out. But I mean, Bowen Phelps has 2 more years of eligibility left. He's played a ton this year. He's clearly going to be a massive piece on next year's defense. Jake Ripp has been dinged up at times this year too, but another guy that you figure is going to be an impact player. And then the 2 young guys that are already in that room, Sincere and Mana, I think that those guys are going to have a chance to, play a lot of football for Boise State. And maybe when you just step back and you look at this thing big picture, time will tell when we see where they transfer to. But I don't know. I was when the news came out yesterday, BJ. My first reaction was like, "Oh man, that could definitely be a blow." But then when you kind of look at how things have played out so far this season, I mean, maybe the 2026 vision of this thing is already kind of being put into effect because those young guys are pretty good ball players.
Well, the portal doesn't officially open until early January, but you can obviously say you're going to enter the portal and obviously not play in the bowl. I don't understand at this point why you wouldn't just stick it out for literally 4 more days and play in a bowl game and get the experience. I
mean, the guys are getting some pretty cool shoes even for going to the bowl game. So, I mean, I would do it for the shoes.
I don't know. That makes no sense to me at this point. If the portal was open, I'd say sure. But if you literally can't even officially talk to teams or whatever until January 4th anyway, that makes no sense to me to not get a chance to go play in an NFL stadium or at least be on the team, even if you're not expected to play. I don't know. That's weird to me. But by the way, the 6-game thing with the idea on the bowl game at the beginning of the season, it'd be the teams that qualified the previous season. So if you get to 6 wins this year, and instead of having the bowl now, you would just have the LA Bowl as the first game next year. That would be the idea behind it, is you'd have to qualify this year. And yes, if you're a senior and you're not expected to be good and you go on a run and get to 6 wins, you don't get the bowl game. Yeah, it's just part of it.
I think we also got to figure out, almost like we've seen with some of these preseason basketball tournaments, we got to figure out a way for there to be an NIL component. If you want guys to play in bowl games,
I don't know why there's not. Yeah, how can the Crown go give everybody money and then and the better part would be just give the winning team the money, more money. Like you go win the LA Bowl, your team gets $1 million to split up.
Yep. Yeah,
I don't know why they don't.
I think that's another thing that I think that they need to look at, because all of a sudden we've seen that happen in college basketball now. And I mean, the Maui Invitational is still phenomenal, but now you finally, that was forever. That was the tournament, right? And now all of a sudden you see another, preseason basketball tournament challenging the Maui Invitational because there's a massive NIL component to it. So if we really want bowl games to get back and feel valued and important, then I feel like there needs to be an NIL component, to getting these guys to stick around and play or something like that.
Yeah, you give each player $5,000 for playing in the game or something, and then if they win the game, they get an extra $10,000 or something. I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but I think that would be worth looking into.
You'd have to have more money than obviously than a basketball. $1 million doesn't go as far.
But there is more with these TV contracts. There is more money out there. I mean, these are very lucrative TV deals that they could find a way.
Wouldn't people be more interested in watching the Potato Bowl or some of these random bowl games if they're finding out, there's I can just think of Gus Johnson. Oh, they're going for that bag. I can picture them just playing for money, having something behind it. How many times did Gus Johnson mention on the Crown that they were the winning team got money? I'd watch.
Yeah. Yep. When you know that there's a significant amount of cash on the line. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Jay, before I'll keep this rolling, I know your time is short, but give us a basketball thought here. Big win against Butler, big week ahead. If you can find a way to go 2-0 this week, I'm not saying you're in the tournament, again, but you're
back on track.
Your part to start to make up for that Hawaii Pacific loss.
Yeah, you're back on track. we've experienced the highest high and the lowest low of college basketball, this season maybe. I mean, right now, Boise State has the worst loss of any Mountain West Conference team, and they have the best win of any Mountain West Conference team. I mean, it is literally insane, BJ, that you could lose at home to Hawaii Pacific and go on the road. And I know that it was a 9-point differential or whatever at Butler, but man, I feel like they hammered Butler. Like that, last 10 minutes of that game was never really within doubt at all. So to have one and the other is just wild. I will say this though, I'd rather have the loss before the win, because now I really feel like that was a learning experience and they know where they're going with this thing. And it's really funny too, because I think that like some of the storylines that we hear about this team is like offense, and they need to get better on defense. But dude, that was a Butler team that was averaging like 90 points at home or something crazy. And Boise State limited them to 68. And then on top of that, they're plus 14 on the glass. And so like, I get like, this is, Leon Rice has some pretty high standards for where he wants his team to be defensively. But I don't know how you can't look at the last, month or so and start to realize like it's definitely trending in that direction. I mean, heck, I'd even argue some of those games in Hawaii, BJ, like their defense probably kept them in it because they didn't have, extremely efficient offensive shooting nights for that matter. So I think that overall it all seems like it's, trending in a positive direction for this team to get to where it needs to be at the start of Mountain West Conference play, to then make a run at hopefully what we can consider as a league title, and then putting themselves in a really good spot on Selection Sunday.
All right, I guess this final question for you, Jay, decides whether you're more of a football fan or a basketball fan. But I heard Tom Moser does a good job covering the Mountain West basketball on his podcast last night, talking about Boise State, and he said he wonders what fans would want. And he said he actually shouted me out and said we need to ask the Boise fans what they would prefer. So I just put it on the YouTube chat here, even though we're kind of late in the show. But what would you rather have, or what do you think that would be the bigger win? What would you rather have this weekend? A win over Washington in the LA Bowl, or a win over St. Mary's on Sunday? I mean, for the actual season, for the actual future, whatever. I mean, I think the actual answer should be St. Mary's, but in terms of getting a 10th win, getting the football momentum, we know what football means around here moving forward. I think a lot of people will probably say football just because they care more about football, but what do you think, St. Mary's or the LA Bowl? What if Jeremiah Dickey right now could only have one win, where's he going?
I'm a bad person to ask this question, BJ, because all I see is the opponent on Boise State's football schedule this week, and anytime that opponent shows up on pretty much any schedule, I will probably side against that opponent. So I gotta say, I'm going with the football win. I would love to see a win for the Boise State football team this weekend over the opponent they play.
They'll take the loss to St. Mary's if you give me a conference tournament championship. Yeah, if we can predict that, I'm sure. But in terms of what it means, though, like for the season, like the basketball game obviously is certainly a quote-unquote more important game. But
I got the game notes for football in front of me, and all I can see is the logo of the team that Boise State plays this weekend, and I hear nothing that's coming out of your mouth right now, BJ.
Well, I was there on Sunday when KU basketball played Mizzou, and KU basketball won by 20, so I know the feeling. Hopefully so are you giving would you be a good one then? I mean, we've had Winston Venable do it. We've had lots of folks. I mean, would you be a good one Friday night to have Spencer bring in and speak, have you speak to fire up the team?
I would want to say yes, but if Winston Venable is the standard, then absolutely not, because I would not touch a pregame speech that legend probably throws down. So, yeah, probably not in comparison.
You sound pretty passionate though about this, UW. I think you can come in and give some choice words about this.
I could give some choice words about the opponent that Boise State plays this weekend.
All right. Well, let's hear that on Friday's edition of Bronco Studios, maybe, what you would say to the team if you had the chance or something. Let's make that a segment.
I probably get to have a little more fun with that over here.
Probably so, yes. Yes. Jay, appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping on. We'll see you. We got basketball interviews, football interviews.
Yeah.
You got a show tomorrow to get ready for. So appreciate you for jumping on, and we will see you down there in a little bit, man.
Sounds good, dude.
Jay Tust, Bronco Studios. Make sure you're checking them out on YouTube, their app, and their channel as well. So we appreciate them. What would you rather have, a football win over in the LA Bowl or a basketball win over St. Mary's on Sunday? I know a lot of you are picking football. I get it, but football's king. I understand that. But in terms of like what it actually means, it win over Washington really doesn't mean much. Yeah, it gives you a 10th win, gives you the Power 4 win, all that, but it really doesn't mean anything in the large scheme of things. Do you go into next season higher ranked because you beat Washington? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But in terms of like actually helping out the season and what it could mean for the postseason, like the win over St. Mary's is 100% no doubt would be a more important, bigger win. So I get it. Most of you guys are bigger football fans, care more about football. That's fine. But if you actually looked at it objectively, what the win would actually mean, like it's not even close. The St. Mary's win would actually be a much bigger win for the basketball team and what their season projects than a win in the LA Bowl, a meaningless bowl game, would mean for the football team. But I understand it. A lot of you guys are bigger football fans. You want to see the football team win, want to get a Power 4 win. I understand that. But, I mean, wouldn't you rather get the Power 4 win in the regular season? Wouldn't you rather beat Oregon to start next season? Like, it's a bowl game. It means nothing. Like, who cares? I guess it makes you feel better about the season. 10 wins, that's great. But in the end, I don't know if it really matters. D-Ray says, even my wife says football. Let's see. Attendance for the St. Mary's game is going to be ugly. Not many tickets sold like years previous. Yeah, I haven't checked in on that, but it is a Sunday in Idaho Falls at 4:00. I mean, that's super tough. Not going to lie. They had a high school basketball tournament over there, I guess. By the way, we're out of Jackson's cards. We need to get some more of these. I just saw the BSU logo there. We're giving away some Jackson's cards. We have Riley and Rid tonight. Riley and Rid show tonight. Alexander Tubner, special guest at the James Kitchen and Bar. If you want to come hang out tonight at the James Kitchen and Bar for the Riley and Rid show at 7:00, you can do that tonight, and they'll be live at the James, 7:00 for Riley and Rid. I get it. You're all saying football. I'm not that surprised. I assumed it would be football. Would be the 80% seems a little high to me, but I'm not really that surprised, to be honest with you, because football certainly is king around here. But if you honestly want to go, what would mean more moving forward? It's more important to beat St. Mary's, no doubt. But in terms of just fan interest and if you want to get over the Power 4 hump, all that, like that's fine. I agree with you. I mean, I'm not surprised, but the actual answer is basketball. I mean, you can't really argue that. The actual what it means to the season, if it makes you feel better, got over the Power 4 hump, all that stuff, like that's, I'm not going to say you're wrong. Like if you're a bigger football fan, then sure, you want to have football win. Like that's fine. I have no problem with that. But the actual answer, which win is bigger for the season, it's St. Mary's. Because if the basketball team beats St. Mary's, all of a sudden they're creeping back into the at-large conversation with 2 quad 1 wins against St. Mary's and Butler. So that changes the look of their roster. Yeah, both. Try to win both. Obviously, that would be winning both would be a heck of a weekend. So hopefully they can find a way to pull that off here moving forward. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game, thespateam.com. You can check them out. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. Check them out online at thespateam.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, their all-wheel drive sales going on. Never a better time to buy that 2026 models that are coming into the lot. Rain's Family 11 RF-150 that we purchased from Lithia. So you can go online, lithiafordboise.com, view their full inventory of options. And that includes the 2025 Ford F-150s, the Escape, the Explorer, the Mach-E, Lightnings, the Transit vans. They got to get those off the lot to make way for the 26 models. So 0% APR for 60 months plus 0 down. Again, that's pretty impressive stuff on the approved credit. So check out Lithia Ford of Boise online at lithiafordboise.com. Shout out Matt Bauscher. He's back for another year of Bronco Nation News. He'll be on the show tomorrow to talk basketball with us, but always can count on Matt Bauscher. 208-243-8222, Bauscher Real Estate. Everybody has 5 friends that are realtors in this town, but I can promise you, after working with him directly to buy our home, to sell our home, tremendous stuff every step of the way. But hit up Matt Bauscher for your next sale or purchase. And again, he has renewed for another year Bronco Nation News, and we are very appreciative and thankful for that. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Locations across the state of Idaho, surrounding states. Love that Cuno location there. So a lot of Treasure Valley locations as well. Download that Skip app. Get savings to 40% off of the checkout line at shopridleys.com. Transcomservice.com. You want to get into the trucking industry, transportation compliance service every step of the way can help you out. Transcomservice.com. Transportation compliance service, transcomservice.com. The DOT overweight all the permits and things. They're a local company helping out folks all over the world, online at transcomservice.com. Hey, Signature Roofing, mysignatureroofing.com are the sponsors of our voice inbox. Let's get some voicemails in there. We'll get those out to you. Speakpipe.com/BNN. You can leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on an upcoming show. Speakpipe.com/BNN. And it's brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, an inspection, they got you covered online at mysignatureroofing.com. And just a reminder, folks, we will be at Uncle Bob's Pizza on Saturday. Join us. I will not be there. I will be at the bowl game. But Nathan, the BNN crew, I think the Rains boys are even going to make an appearance. They got to have Sun Cruisers there. They got discounted beer, discounted pizza, halftime raffle with all kinds of prizes and things and gift cards to cover your tabs. So if you're looking for a spot on Saturday, they have an arcade. So bring the kids, bring some quarters, let them go play in the arcade, and you can sit there and hang out and have a cold one and have a Sun Cruiser and watch the game with your friends. So a watch party. We've had great crowds for some of these earlier in the season. Some of the times didn't line up later in the season with the late night games for Nevada and San Diego State. But Uncle Bob's Pizza, 6 o'clock. We'll be live with the pregame show starting at 4 o'clock for the bowl game. So you can watch us on Saturday. Nathan and crew will be live from Uncle Bob's starting at 4 o'clock on Saturday. Come hang out. Come on the show if you want. As I said, lots of specials, food, drink, and just a cool, fun atmosphere with big screen TVs and a lot of fun. They'll have the sound pumping through there. So Uncle Bob's Pizza in Meridian. Hope to see you Saturday for the LA Bowl watch party. And that starts at 4 o'clock with our live broadcast of Bronco Nation News. Checking some of the comments here. Bowl game at the beginning of the year is literally the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Talk about destroying college football. Well, again, wasn't my idea. Leon Rice has mentioned it, but yesterday it was brought up again because Rick Neuheisel was the one that said he thinks it's happening. Rick Neuheisel said, I believe bowl games are going to move to the beginning of the season. And with all these opt-outs, with the playoff expanding, there's just not enough interest for bowl games late in the season. I think bowl games, if you don't move them to the beginning of the season, they might just go away, period. It sounds crazy to say, but if you're going to expand the playoff and have more games and less opportunities for bowls, I don't know if the Bulls can survive at the end of the season with the playoff expanding. I really don't. And so one option would be just to move them to the beginning of the season. And you have the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. You have the All-State Capital Classic. You already have essentially special one-off bowl games already. That's essentially what it would be. You just would have it in these random cities and a neutral site, 20 neutral site games or whatever to kick off the season. That's pretty much what it would be to start the season instead of at the end. And it would give you a nice random game, first game of the season that you leave that date open, and then you find out who you're playing after the season ends, and you try to have some good matchups. And think about how much more fun a matchup would be when you're at full strength. So I think that's certainly something that they're going to consider moving forward. Skyship says Joe Lenardi already has Boise State on the bubble. I'll have to go look at that and see, but I'm sure you're probably right. And that just kind of makes me chuckle because there were so many people that gave up on this team after they, lost to Hawaii Pacific and said the season is over. No chance of an at-large. He's already got Boise State as the next 4 out. Boise State is up to the next 4 out all of a sudden. How about that? Just with one. Yeah. Yep. That's I'm just kind of chuckling because, It's a I'm going to put this on the screen here if I can pull it off real quick. Let's see here. All right, so there's Joe Lenardi's bubble watch. So let's add this to the stream here. There you go. Joe Lunardi, next 4 out, Boise State. So he now has Butler as his first team out of the tournament after losing to Boise State, but he has NC State in the tournament. That was a game Boise State hung around with. But he has Boise State next 4 out. How about that? So the Butler win was a huge win. Was right about the Butler win, turned some heads. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super surprised by this. They obviously have a large way to go, but if they find a way to beat St. Mary's, like, they'll be in the first 4 out probably, at least, if not in the field already. And that's just why it was hilarious that people were giving up on the season after the Hawaii Pacific loss. Even when they lost the 2 games in Maui, people were like, oh, why do you even play in this tournament just so you can get crushed by these teams or whatever? Like, if you didn't watch those games and see some positive things, then you're just a hater. I mean, that's just the way it was. So I think they're moving in the right direction. But again, St. Mary's is the game here. If you don't beat St. Mary's, I don't think the Butler game is enough to kind of hang your hat on unless you go on some crazy run in Mountain West play. That's not true. It's Keaton. It's not true. I mean, yes, if it's literally them tied with another team and it's like, oh, they lost to a worse team, then yes. But there's 31 games. One game does not, I mean, every team loses games. Like, just because this notion that, oh, they lost to a D2 team, they have no chance of making the NCAA tournament. Like, it was the first game of the season by 1 point. Like, that's not what keeps you out of the NCAA tournament. That logic to me has never made sense. The first night of the season, I was saying that when folks were calling me a homer or whatever. Like, no, it was an embarrassing loss. It was the worst loss in the history of the program. It's one of the worst losses in Mountain West history. There's no doubt, but it's also 1 game out of 31, and that's not how basketball works. I mean, football maybe is different, but in basketball, you can lose games, and it was 1 point on the very first game of the season. Like, is it going to impact their seeding? Is it certainly a factor? Yes, but did it eliminate them from the NCAA tournament on day 1, like a lot of people said? No, it didn't. It happens. It's basketball. So I think now you're seeing that they really only have 1 good win right now, and that's Butler. I mean, the Utah Valley and the Wichita State wins are nice, but the Butler is the big one, and all of a sudden they're right back on the bubble. So it didn't eliminate or crush their NCAA tournament chances like a lot of folks said, and that's why it's just sometimes it's worth taking a deep breath before kind of making statements and tweeting and things. And some of the hot takes after that Hawaii Pacific game were just, it will be remembered when it's decision time, but not remembered to the point where it's like, oh, we can't put them in. They had a Division II loss. Like, no, if they're 100% tied in every other stat and it comes down to that, then sure, it might matter, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a factor as everyone thinks. And that's already proven by the fact that they're already back on the bubble here in early December. So huge game against Butler on last week, huge game against St. Mary's on Sunday, but huge game tomorrow. Duquesne, they come in like 140 at Ken Palm. They're a solid team. This could be probably a quad 3 game, maybe could end up being quad 2, but this is a game you need to win. And, it's certainly a sandwich game, kind of the classic trap game. Huge win against Butler. Big game against St. Mary's coming up. You're favored by 10 or 11 points. Like, we're going to find out a lot about this team. If they come wax Duquesne by 20, you're going to say, okay, this team's pretty good. If they're struggling and they're up by 5 with 4 minutes to go or something, you're going to go, okay, this is, just got to find a way to win it. But tomorrow's a big game against Duquesne to kind of keep this momentum rolling, because Sunday is certainly a massive game against St. Mary's, and we'll obviously have that covered as well. I did figure out the travel plans, so Bronco Nation News will be at the bowl game on Saturday night, and then we'll be in Idaho Falls on Sunday. Bronco Nation News, I think, will be the only outlet. I mean, Bob and Abe will be there for radio, but I don't think anybody else is going to try to make the trip over to Idaho Falls. Bronco Nation News, of course, if there's a will, there's a way, and we found a way. So Bronco Nation News will be in Idaho Falls on Sunday for the game, and that'll be my first time over for a basketball game there. The last 2 times it has not worked out with football. Wasn't able to make it happen, but we were able to find a flight and a rental car and planes, trains, and automobiles. Bronco Nation News, travel permitting, weather permitting, will be in Idaho Falls on Sunday. Looking forward to that. But Saturday night, again, hope you join us at Uncle Bob's Pizza and Meridian. Make plans now. Uncle Bob's Pizza and Meridian. 4 o'clock, the pregame show starts. There'll be discounted food, discounted drinks, a halftime raffle. Again, if you've never been there, tremendous pizza, awesome spot. It's like a family-friendly sports bar. They have an arcade where the kids can go play. It's an awesome spot, and they'll have the game on the big screen. Make plans now. Nathan Carroll will be out there. Some former players, coaches, the BNN crew will be in full force in Uncle Bob's. Live pregame show, live postgame show, and you can watch the game at Uncle Bob's, like I said, with great specials and a halftime raffle as well. So make plans now. Uncle Bob's Pizza in Meridian. Join us on Saturday for the LA Bowl. And as I said, take a picture. Go. I highly recommend it, folks. I know I say all of our sponsors and are legit, and please support them, and I really do mean that. But if you've never had a Sun Cruiser, I highly recommend you to give it a shot. And we're asking you to take a picture of yourself in the month of December having a Sun Cruiser. And if you post it to Twitter, post it to Instagram, email us, post it on social media would be preferred. Yourself, your family, your friends having a Sun Cruiser. And if you send that to us and mention, that you got it because of Bronco Nation News, we will we'll put you in a raffle and we'll give away a Sun Cruiser prize pack or maybe some gift cards. We'll have a pretty cool prize. We want to show Sun Cruiser that their sponsorship is working. I'm not just saying this either. I think you're really going to enjoy it. If you like the iced tea, version, that's great. Iced tea, lemonade iced tea. I'm more of just a straight lemonade vodka fan myself, so the strawberry lemonade is my favorite flavor. Pink lemonade as well. The variety pack is awesome. They're available at Albertsons, Jackson's. Albertsons has the different options with the lemonades as well. So hit up your local establishment. Get a Sun Cruiser. They've got it at the James. They're going to have it at Uncle Bob's. And if you take a picture of yourself having one and send it to us, we'll enter you in a raffle to win a prize during the month of December as we kick off our new studio deal with Sun Cruiser. So appreciate you guys for checking us out. We got to get down to Boise State. We got basketball interviews. We got football interviews. Busy day at Boise State. And maybe we'll find out why they closed practice today for football. I don't know if there's anything to that or not, but very interesting that they decided at the last minute to say no media for practice today. So I don't know if anybody hey, it's Keaton. There we go. Had a couple Sun Cruisers during the game last weekend. Best seltzer type I've ever had. There you go. Appreciate that. It's Keaton. It's a great beverage, and we appreciate Sun Cruiser. And if you've never had it, I highly recommend it. Both the vodka tea versions and just the lemonade vodka versions as well are awesome, and we appreciate Sun Cruiser, and that's really cool. So, again, send us a picture having one. It's Keaton, and we'll enter you in the raffle there for some cool prizes. So, big week ahead for Boise State. Big week ahead for Bronco Nation News. Basketball game tomorrow night. Football, basketball this weekend. As always, Bronco Nation News will be there to cover it. I just saw the email come across. The press conference, 2 o'clock on Friday. Rob Gronkowski will be in attendance, the two head coaches. So we'll have a lot of coverage from that on Friday. Full coverage. We'll get down to LA on Thursday. We'll stay for the basketball game tomorrow, get down to LA on Thursday, and then have the press conference Friday. Our live show Friday morning will be from LA somewhere, and then we'll have full pregame, postgame coverage Saturday. Get over to Idaho Falls and have pre- and postgame coverage there on Sunday. So don't forget, final plug, 50% off. Our deal is still going at BroncoNationNews.com. If you want to subscribe, you've been on the fence about it, football, basketball coverage of the transfer portal coming up in January, all kinds of football offseason talk, movement in terms of players, coaches, whatever. We'll have you covered in our transfer portal tracker, BroncoNationNews.com. 50% off right now, an annual subscription. If you want to subscribe, just hit the join VIP button up in the upper right-hand corner at BroncoNationNews.com. We'd love to have you join. So I need to get down to Boise State. Leon Rice, player interviews. Braxton Feely's talking today for the football side. Dylan Riley as well. And we'll get those posted to the website, to the YouTube channel this afternoon. But give us a like. Give us a sub on YouTube here for free on your way out the door. And we appreciate you guys. Another fun show. And yeah, Robbie, you're funny. I am going to be going to the bowl game, believe it or not. I know that was very, very hard to figure out for some folks, but Bronco Nation News will be at the bowl game. We will also be at Uncle Bob's Pizza. Hope you join us. I will not be at Uncle Bob's Pizza. I will be at the football game, but we have some cool stuff planned for Uncle Bob's as well. And I hope you'll join us Saturday at Uncle Bob's. Hope you'll join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Hope you'll join us tonight, 7 o'clock. Alexander Tubner, the special guest. If you heard him on the postgame show, he was tremendous. Alex Tubner will be the special guest live tonight at the James Kitchen and Bar Riley and Ridge show, 7 o'clock tonight. 7 o'clock, Riley and Ridge tonight at the James Kitchen and Bar, and that is presented by our friends at Jackson's. 99-cent coffee anytime, day or night, from our friends at Jackson's. And don't forget, Monday, they're going to honor the Latrell Caples deal, 49-cent fountain drink. Hopefully he scores, but if he doesn't, to celebrate his career and honor Latrell Caples, the outgoing senior. Monday, they're going to honor the deal no matter what. 49-cent fountain drink at Jackson's day or night on Monday using your Let's Go Rewards app. 49-cent fountain drink on Monday from Let's Go Rewards. So 7 o'clock tonight, Riley and Rid. 9 a.m. tomorrow, we'll have Matt Bauscher and Winston Venable join us. We'll talk football and basketball, and then the basketball game tomorrow night. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Check the website later. We'll get those interviews posted with Braxton Feely, with Dylan Riley, with Leon Rice. So a ton of content coming this afternoon. And we'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate it. Go subscribe at BroncoNationNews.com and give us a follow and everything on all of our social channels. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News live from the Sun Cruiser Studios, BroncoNationNews.com. Go check it out, everybody.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
How's your day going?